So many of us can qualify for bonds that are well into the millions. Can we afford the monthly installments? Can we sustain that every single month? Just because you qualify for it does not mean that you can afford it. Hello Hunies, it's Yolz and welcome back to my channel. We have not done a Q&A in a minute, and today we are talking all things money, finance, property, debt, nje konke. Think of it, if it's got to do with izaga, it is all in this Q&A. I asked you to ask me questions so that I could answer them on IG. And if you don't follow me already, it is at Yolz channel. Get on there and let's connect. If you do enjoy this video, give it a massive thumbs up. Comment down below if you've got any questions or even answers. One thing about the Yolz channel community is that we help one another. I absolutely love seeing people post questions and other people actually answering them right there. That's the whole point of Yolz. Me, you, your sister, your auntie, and of course your bestie. If you haven't subscribed already, join the Yolz channel family. And of course, because we're talking all things money, this does not constitute as financial advice, okay? Yes, I did study finance and investments, but I'm not a financial advisor. What I'm here to do is big sis Yolz stuff, honey. Let's get straight into it. Hey there. It's Yolz channel. Hey, y'all went straight into it. We're starting with property. Is purchasing a property really a great investment? I'm feeling like I'm stuck. I'm scared to rent out. Now, I'm assuming you are talking from a position of owning a property and you are scared of renting it out. Is property a great investment? The simple answer is yes, it is a great investment if you are getting a return on your investment. What do I mean by that? If I am looking to buy property where I live currently, which is Johannesburg, I have not bought any property here in Johannesburg. By the way, the property that I do own is in Cape Town. But if I want to buy here, I would be looking at where I would be making the highest rental yield. So I'd be looking at areas where I would be making money. Realistically, I would be looking at my tenant, because the highest risk that you have if you are buying property to be a landlord is your tenant. It is called default risk in this case. The first place would be Sandton, obviously, because it's the richest square mile. But can I afford the property? So buy in Midrand, because there's a high working class population, right? And the type of tenant I'd want to attract in my property is somebody with a stable job. So I'm talking about a teacher, possibly a doctor, not an influencer, to be fair, not a chef, and not anyone in an industry that's very volatile in terms of income. And of course, I would want to make sure that I'm getting an income that far exceeds my expenses. What do I mean by that? My installment, my rates and taxes, if it's in a complex because it's an apartment, the levies that are attached to that, right? And everything else, maintenance. Any damage to the property is on me. Insurance on the property and all those expenses. Those are real expenses that exist the minute you become a homeowner, whether you've bought it for investment or yourself. So you want to at least cover that and make a surplus on that. That is where the ROI portion comes in, where you want to make a profit on the asset that you've just bought. The other thing is that before I even go ahead and buy, I would shop around online, guys. Window shopping is free, literally on our phones. Go onto Property 24 and check comparables on the asset that you're looking for. But most importantly, if you're buying for investment, look at where the highest rentals are being achieved within the area that you are buying at. So where can I get a really good deal? Because if you're buying for investment purposes, you want the best deal on the market. The next question is all about saving for your kids, starting to create wealth with them in mind, and how and where to start. The first thing I would do in this situation is actually just ensure that I have an emergency account for my family first. Let's sort out the basics. So this is a fund that exists in a savings account, hopefully that is high yielding in interest rates. This emergency account has to at least cover 3 to 6 months of my income. In case I do not have income at all for a period of 3 to 6 months, I then have a buffer that I've created for me and my family. Things happen. This is outside of your medical aid and any other savings account that you do have for your family. Second to that, I would actually create a tax-free investment account for your child. The earlier you start, the best, okay? It's like when somebody said, when is the best time to plant a tree? It's 20 years ago. So literally, when your child is born, my advice would be get them a tax-free account. The minute they do have an ID number, you should be able to go to the bank. Some banks say wait for a year or wait for 2 years, but I'd still say shop around and get your child a tax-free investment account. This allows you a maximum of 500,000 in deposit. However, you've got 14 years to actually get to that amount. You are earning interest from day one, and the interest is really dependent on your risk appetite. But no government, no SARS, no one can actually take from that amount. It is tax-free, meaning that you are not charged any tax. However, you are limited in the amount that you can ever deposit. So you are limited to 36,000 Rand a year over the span of 14 years. That is what will get you to 500,000. If you choose to withdraw, know that you are actually decreasing your limit. However, you are not limited in interest rates, so you can shop around. And your banks have it. Easy Equities also has tax-free investment accounts. The lovely thing about it is that by the time they are 20, 25, they're getting millions out of whichever tax-free investment account you have chosen. The best is to use a tax-free investment account that you get the highest interest rates, but banks are still the safest if you are risk averse. Then in terms of education fund, you can start an education fund immediately as well, from as little as 500 Rand, 100 Rand. I would say if you can help yourself, because education funds help you. Should your child at the age of 18 decide to study abroad, you making that life easier for yourself, not for your child. I think we owe it to our children to give them the best, even better than we have. So start as early as possible with an education fund. But when it comes to wealth creation, I would think a tax-free investment account would be the best route to go. Is it too bad to get a car without a deposit? I think you've made up your mind. You want to buy the car without a deposit. What does this mean? It just means more debt. The reason why we like deposits, at least from me, I'm a cash is king kind of girl, is to lower the amount I owe. Anything that you buy on debt is expensive. Far more expensive than buying it in cash. So if you can decrease how much you owe anybody, do it. The Bible says, hey, the borrower is a slave to the lender. My sister, is it too bad? How bad? How good do you want to be a slave to your lender? Not your lender, a lender. Sana, hey, Sana, I bought shares in Easy Equities, and I think it was during COVID, but not a lot. I want to continue with my journey, but I am not clued up. So I think it would be better if I were to get an overview of how everything works. There's just a lot. There are a couple of Easy Equities questions, and to be quite honest with you, I am actually on a learning journey. I only started this year using Easy Equities as an investment tool for me and my wealth journey. And I don't think I'm best positioned to advise or talk too much on it. However, I have taken the position of just holding. I'm literally investing in ETFs only. For me, that is probably the safest bet. Here on YouTube, I literally rely on the insights that Nozi as well as Zwannda provide, and I will actually link their channels down in the description box. These girlies have literally helped me build a portfolio from scratch and go back to my finance and investments education. It's nothing like the books, y'all. What we learned in class in reality is not the same. So they look at top performing ETFs, and that's what they invest in. They also do comparisons of like how they've performed over 3 months, over a year, and I would follow those girlies, to be quite honest with you, when it comes to your Easy Equities journey. And then in terms of investments in general, Munya is absolutely amazing. It's money modern, and I will actually also just put his details over here. He looks at all kinds of investments. I do believe that he's a financial advisor, and I've looked at his content particularly for growing wealth for Fezi. Absolutely love his stuff. What would you say are the most practical steps to take to get yourself out of debt? So there are various ways of getting out of debt, and I think the simplest is to attack debt one at a time. So pay all your debts at the same time, every month, on time, and then have a short-term goal to literally quicken the term of one of those debts. And there are two methods that most people use. It's the avalanche method or the snowball method. The avalanche looks at the highest interest rate, getting that one finished first, because that is chowing you. You're paying far more. That debt is the most expensive. Paying off all your debts every single month as you would by installments, and then whatever you have left at the end of the month, paying that little extra into the debt with the highest interest rate. Any short-term loan, your clothing account, your cell phone even, those, look at the interest that you're paying there versus a mortgage. Whereas the snowball is looking at the smallest balance first. So you're paying all your debts once again every single month. You've got car, you've got a personal loan, and maybe the personal loan is 20,000 Rand, and you've got a student loan of 10,000 Rand, and your car is maybe 400,000. You're going to try and pay off your student loan because that's the smallest balance, right? Quickest first. Once you get rid of that, you then go for your personal loan. In terms of finishing it off. So whatever extra that you have at the end of the month, now you are tackling your personal loan, finish that. And then you go for your car, finishing that off before its 5-year original term. How do you manage finances in a marriage as a couple? Yo! It is not an easy journey. I can tell you that from a personal experience, because we both come, myself and my husband, come from different backgrounds, right? He grew up a little bit more well off than I did. I come with scarcity mindset, financial trauma of my own, and I also come with the notion of cash is king, whereas for him, he's very sort of open to using debt to his advantage, and a lot of people are as well. I like cash flow and I like money in stages. In fact, I don't even like brands paying me all at once, especially for long-term campaigns. I prefer it to be scattered over a few months, or at least phased over a few months. That way I have long-term cash flow. Every single month there's income. So we came in with both these different views, right? His is, if you're gonna pay me everything, let me decide what I do with my money. I want it all now. These are two different views. The most important thing is conversation about money first. Understanding how your partner views money is the foundation of this conversation, because some people fear talking about finances in general. In fact, I know couples who've never seen each other's payslips. We saw each other's payslips when we were still dating, okay? While we both have different views, we were pretty open when it comes to just talking about money in general, right? So you both need to get to that point first and foremost. Secondly, this is your partner. This is your partner in life for the long term. And I do think that you need to have monthly meetings, bi-monthly, even twice a month, where you actually meet and talk about where are we when it comes to our finances, particularly when it comes to reaching your financial goals. The biggest thing that has helped in my marriage, and only later to realize this, is actually sitting down and saying, what do we want to achieve? And how can we do this? One of the first things that we did before we got married was say we want to get married and have no debt. And we smashed that goal purely because we were both working. And we did fairly well in our work. We had a spreadsheet where we literally plotted every single expense for the wedding. It is easier to target financial problems as if they are a project outside of just your relationship. Don't attack the person. The person, it comes with a different mindset, but this is an our problem thing. This is our project. We want to go away every single year. How can we make that happen together? That can only happen through conversation and proper planning. And if you guys sit together and almost chew at it slowly every single month, in my experience, twice a month would be great, but once a month is good enough as well. And also remove all stigmas. Don't talk about money when it is at night as well. Don't make things awkward. If we're gonna go out, we must know our money situation first. So that's why it's really important to have conversation and make light of it. Yes, money is serious, but money is not our God. But just because you're not making money at the moment doesn't mean you should not be part of the conversation. And this is to both men and women, okay? I do believe in financial independence as a woman, but that's a different conversation for another day. We need to attack that one, because the Lord also needed to work on me on submission. However, whether rich or poor in this moment in time, I have a voice when it comes to money in this household. And so does my husband. Where is the best place to save for an emergency fund? Your current bank. Wherever you are banking with would be the first place. I would not say open a new bank account and look for a place. No, because you're going to pay new banking fees with that account. What's the point? What's the best way to save an emergency fund? Do not create an emergency fund with stocks and shares and try and trade emergency funds. Please, don't add any risk to emergency funds, because when an emergency comes, it is not planned. You need the money now. So put it in any bank. You need to be able to access an emergency fund at any time, because emergencies happen anytime. I would recommend at least a 48-hour notice account. So where I need to notify the bank, I need to access these funds within 2 days or 7 days. Why? Because there are people out there where an emergency, everything is an emergency, Sana. It's not a real emergency, but I need the money now because we're going out, or my friends have planned this emergency trip. Emergency trip to where? To Thailand. Haibo. Emergency. So the reason why it is in a notice account where you need to notify the bank when you need access to it is so that you can exercise a little bit of resistance for yourself and for the sake of discipline with money. How do you start? The best way to start is with what you have every single month. So when your salary hits your bank account, even before the debit orders, my advice would be to take something off of your salary every single month and put it away for a rainy day. Hey y'all, I've downloaded the Easy app account. I don't know how to go about it. I do believe Nozi has got a detailed video on how to use Easy Equities, but it's super simple. You'd basically sign up with your email, your password. I would actually use the demo version if I'm starting and then learn my way around trading first before putting in real money into Easy Equities, because I don't want you to lose money, girl. I want us to make money, and the best place is to utilize information from people who've actually used it for years. Okay, I want the girlies to win. Would you say it is better to build or to buy a house for somebody with an entry level salary, maybe somebody who's working long hours in retail? So the basic assumption is that building is more expensive than buying. Buying, you know exactly what you are in for from the get-go. Building, there are variable costs. There is also the risk and the time element that you have to spend. Do you have the time, if you're working long hours, to manage a building project, a construction project? Increasing prices of material at any given time, quotes that change because you've taken so long to finish maybe the foundation or another phase of the building. Do you also have the land? There are so many questions, and I don't have enough information on your current situation. If you'd be going to the bank and borrowing, if you are going to be going to the bank, you would have to actually have the land and then get a building loan on top of that. But from just assuming with the little information that I have, I would say buying is cheaper because you know what you are in for. You go into the house knowing that it's been standing here. The risks that are there, if there's a crack on the wall, you can see it right then and there. If you are building, you're still going to face that risk, plus the risk of contractors maybe taking your money and running away. I'm not saying don't build. If I have the land, perhaps I would build, but it would also have to be in the right location, and I would want to have the costs up front to shorten the amount of time that I spend building, because the biggest cost in building most of the time, and I've seen this everywhere, whether you're building in the village or in the city, is time. You don't want to spend 18 to 24 months building your dream home. Yes, the benefit is having your own home tailor-made and customized for your needs, but for how long and how much time do you have? So for your situation, my babe, I would say buy rather than build. Can you please also advise on financing a car either with the balloon option or a deposit? Deposit, my friend, deposit lowers the overall amount of money that you would owe the bank. If we can get less debt as a generation, trust me, we will be doing better from a wealth building perspective. I would rather put in a high deposit, owe the bank less. That would lower my installments every single month and help me, if I do have excess, in paying off that car debt quicker than the original term that's been stipulated in my car loan contract. Remember, personal finance is exactly that. It is personal to you and personal to your goals. There is no one size fits all approach when it comes to money and finances. All our circumstances are different, right? Some people say debt is better than cash, but our circumstances vary, and what works for me may not work for you, and that's really important when it comes to our pocket. What I believe is that cash is king, but while it may be so, I have used debt to my advantage, right? The biggest takeaway for me personally is that whichever situation that you were in, just make sure it works for you. And if you have taken on debt, make sure you can manage it. If you are buying things cash, make sure that you can actually sustain whatever it is that you've bought cash as well. I hope that really helps. If you've got any other questions, leave them down in the comment section below. I love communicating and connecting with you. And of course, if you did enjoy this video, give it a massive thumbs up. It means that more eyes will get to see this video. The algorithm literally is like, oh, people like this, let's recommend it to more people. If you've not joined the family, girl, why? You don't want to get your life right, you don't want to get your wealth right, simply click that subscribe button and join the Yolz channel family. I love you guys so much. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.